The 2012 Hollywood Casino 400 would be a Kansas race like no other. 43 cars would line up for the sixth race of the 2012 Chase for the Sprint Cup, the mile-and-a-half tri-oval track just being freshly repaved and also being freshly reconfigured, with progressive banking in the corners. This was conducive to a chaotic nationwide series debut, and it made the track a lot more like the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. With the championship battle heating up, this kind of wild card would have huge implications on the season at large. Mark Martin led the field off to green in his number 55 Aaron's Toyota. While he led early, it was actually Aric Almirola in the Richard Petty number 43 Ford who actually looked fastest in the field. He led most of the initial run before Casey Mears hit the wall in his number 13 Ford, having a flat tire. Even after the first restart, Almirola had a light blue Smithfield rocket ship underneath him. Behind him was a different story, though.
Go, trouble off the corner, Kyle Busch spins.
Yellow's out, yellow's out, yellow's out.
The track was giving crew chiefs a real tough time. The setup had been on the razor's edge the entire weekend and including this race. As the early stages of the race would wind on, second place points driver Jimmie Johnson was doing what he needed to do to gain points on the series leader Brad Keselowski. But before the run could go full circle, AJ Allmendinger slammed into the wall with another right front flat. This was something that many could see coming. You see, back in August of 2012, Dale Jr. got in a nasty crash and got a horrible concussion from a flat in a tire test at Kansas. This was actually part of the compounding reason for why he wasn't racing this day, and instead Regan Smith was piloting the number 88 National Guard Chevy. Now, because of this caution, on pit road, the 48 team took control of the race. It wasn't long until another was in the wall, this time Jeff Burton. At this point, the race finally started to run green. This led to the first round of green flag pit stops of the day, but it wasn't a clean enough run for leader Aric Almirola.
Tire call for him as well. They'll fill him up with Sunoco fuel, and he's been good to go.
Car up the track in turn two. It was the leader, Aric Almirola. You saw it on the right side of the screen. He's gotten into the wall with.
Like that, one of the best runs that the number 43 saw in the entire decade of the 2010s was being put in jeopardy. This was only the start of issues for major players in the event.
Under caution, it punctured the sidewall. Jimmie Johnson.
Jimmie Johnson has hit the wall in turn four. And a race he was leading.
Stay on the racetrack if you can.
A race he was leading just moments ago through a turn of events that put him back in traffic, has put him in the wall.
The twitchy running of these cars bit the 48 in the behind, literally as he hit the wall. His aspirations for a sixth title may have spun away into 2013. But the Lowe's squad wasn't done and wasn't going to give up. But the field had to go on, though they didn't go on that much longer without issue as an absolute demolition derby began.
I don't believe any trouble at turn three. Look, got a car on the wall, Bobby Labonte. And everybody gets by okay.
Right rear, left rear.
This will just give the 48 some more time to come in and make some adjustments on the rear of that car.
Probably want some grip in these corners. Ooh, trouble, turn one. Danica Patrick, Landon Castle tangled up. Castle going for a slide.
Yeah, we did not hit anything, did not hit anything.
Gets clear there. And she gets in on the bumper, but just doesn't get off of him. Right there where you're talking, and you just turn it left and lock it down.
Yeah, she had a chance to not go up hit that wall if she just stayed on the brakes and kept it down there. It's like she's trying to save it and just kept driving it until it hooked to the right.
Yeah, at that point right there is whenever you should just, as a driver, realize that this is a spin, lock it down, and you can come get four tires. And that's the kind of things that you'll have to learn with these cars.
Well, rule number one in stock car racing is learn how to wreck someone without wrecking yourself.
It's one thing, at one time I can imagine frustration, but it's been pretty consistent with him getting into me. So at some point in time, I got to stand up for myself.
We were worried about it being single file.
Oh, trouble. Trevor Bayne, Marcus Allen. as caution is out again.
Hold the brakes. Hold the brakes. Come on now.
Off of turn number 2.
Just once again gets loose on the exit there. You can see a great job that they did behind.
Let's see, Matt Kenseth also got a piece of the wall.
All clear.
Had to happen there.
Oh, Biffle into the wall hard in the 16.
Just hold the brake here if you can. Just hold it right in the pit stall. Nice and easy. There you go.
All right, Rex, this is bad.
Ryan Newman looking for some running room around Kyle Busch. Oh, trouble. Into the walls, the 18, and more trouble. Sam Hornish collected. Newman's torn up. And the yellow flag's out again.
Fire it up, get it rolling if you can.
Points leader Keselowski just barely missed this, too.
After the absolute chaos, the competitive picture of the day was completely flipped on its head. Brad Keselowski, through both skill and luck, kept his championship bid going as probably the favorite at this point. But an unlikely foe for him at this point was making his way back up the running order. Jimmie Johnson. With him making a comeback, so too was Matt Kenseth. Up front, Mark Martin led over Paul Menard. This was a truly odd race in pretty much every front. The calm continued for some time. Guys started making their final green flag pit stops of the day. The race shifted from a demolition derby to a strategic fight back to the derby.
Trouble, turn 4. Car hard in the wall. Aric Almirola.
Hey up there, buddy. Let's go ahead and stop. Looks like the fire's out. Go ahead and get out. Go ahead and get out. Just stay
Caution
close to the
out
car.
just after Denny Hamlin and Mark Martin pit.
This is one of the cars that hit the wall earlier with a right front tire. I don't know what happened here. He looks like he's done now, though.
Almirola's day of high hopes ultimately deflated into disappointment. This did offer teams the opportunity to make final stops on the day. The race was now turning into a sprint. With 45 to go, Matt Kenseth now had control of the race. Brad Keselowski and Jimmie Johnson being stuck in the mid-pack were the guys going for the championship, while Paul Menard was actually up front challenging the number 17 Ford. While the pack raced, Kenseth raced off. Trouble would strike again as Sam Hornish Jr. blew a tire in his Penske Racing Dodge, ultimately killing what was left of his yellow and red car. This would turn out to be the last yellow flag of the day, and Kenseth would once again run off with the lead. While he did that, Jimmie Johnson was chasing after his championship rival Brad Keselowski, the title fight being the most intriguing part of the race left, as Kenseth was now up over 3 seconds.
Cares about the organization, and he's just a tremendous competitor, and you can see that happening.
And the white flag is up. We're in the last lap today at Kansas. A race that's featured 14 cautions. A very tough toll on car and driver. Many, many rallies on the day, including this 17 from as far as 24th in the pack. Final corners here for Matt. Checkered flag is up.
Here's the checkers.
Third win of the season, second of the chase. Matt Kenseth wins at Kansas.
With the win, Kenseth and co. had a good storyline and a good feeling for the rest of the 4 races left in his Roush Fenway racing career. Brad Keselowski would finish 1 spot ahead of Jimmie Johnson, now only 7 points separating the two. Keselowski would capitalize on the 48's late season misfortunes and would win Roger Penske his first Cup Series title in Dodge's swan song season. Many of the final 2012 storylines started at this race in Kansas, and the track became one of NASCAR's best in the 2010s, with furthermore chaos for the years following this race. So, with all that, I want to pass this on to you. What's your favorite chaotic race ever? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like in this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more NASCAR content like this to come. And to all my channel members, thank you so much for your support. So until next time, have a good one.